Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind the Country Chic Cottage. This is the video you've been waiting for. We're going to talk about the Cricut AutoPress, who needs it, why you would want to buy it, and my full review. Now, this video is sponsored by Cricut, however all projects and opinions are my own. So let's run down some of the things that I've done with the AutoPress because I've made like over 50 things on the AutoPress, most of which you've seen here on YouTube. And I will link to all those videos below so if you want to do all your research before purchasing the AutoPress, I have several different videos for you. So the first video we unboxed it, took a look at the features, and I will do a quick rundown of features in this video as well. Second video, I used the AutoPress with HTV on 10 different surfaces to find out how it would work. Next video, I used the AutoPress with Sublimation. Again, 10 different projects, 10 different blanks. Can the AutoPress do sublimation? Third video, I talked about AutoPress for business, and I made several different projects, multiples of those projects, and talked about how the AutoPress made those projects faster. And finally, last week, I did things that say they require heavy pressure. Because the AutoPress has an auto pressure setting, and you can adjust the pressure, I wanted to see if it could handle some of those heavy pressure items. So let's talk about each of those videos and a summary of all of those. But again, you can watch the full videos if you would like. First of all, some of the features of the AutoPress that you might like. So first of all, it closes and will lock closed. Awesome feature because then you can use the handle on the front as well as a pocket for your hand in the back to lift it, carry it around, weighs about 58 pounds. You can also stand it up on its ends. You can store it behind a door or a closet. Then when you unlock it, it comes up and it is a kind of a clamshell and a swing away in one. So clamshell in that it opens up, but it's going to open up like almost a full 90 degrees so that your hands are away from the heat. However, when you close it, when you get about 6 inches above the surface, it is parallel to the surface. Can press up to 2 inches thick, and I did test that in my HTV video, worked great. Comes with a mat that comes off of the AutoPress. You can purchase extra mats if you want to in order to be able to change things out quickly. Comes with a control pod that you set the time and temperature and that it plugs into the back. Has that auto pressure setting that I talked about. So when I push this down, start pressing, it automatically engages with the motor and sets the pressure for me. It also has an auto open feature. So it does open automatically when it's done pressing. Now, with that auto pressure feature, you can close this with as little as 2 fingers just by pressing down on the handle and closing the AutoPress. That means no more pushing down on the handle of your heat press in order to close it. So with HTV, I did 10 different projects. Like I said, I even did HTV on wood. A couple different wood projects. One was about 3/4 of an inch thick, and then I did it on 2-inch wood blocks. All those projects worked amazing. And I used a variety of HTV, both brands as well as types. So with a variety of HTV and a variety of blanks, the AutoPress worked great. You can also use the AutoPress for things like infusible ink and sublimation. So I put that to the test in the next video. 10 different projects, 10 different blanks. The AutoPress worked great on every single one of those. Even some of those really long sublimation blanks that take, 6 minutes to press, the AutoPress worked perfectly. Then next up, I tested it for business reasons, and I went through all the reasons why you'd want the AutoPress for your home-based business and why it makes your production even faster than it was before. So first of all, for me, the auto open feature makes things tons faster. That means I can be prepping something and not worrying about opening my heat press when my press is complete. It opens on its own. I can come and change those products out as soon as my next one is ready to pop into the press. Then before this, I had a smaller heat press and the heat plate size was smaller. With this larger heat plate size, the ability to get lots of small objects onto the surface and press those all at once also helped to increase my production time. So I did like that feature as well. So larger size, auto open are definitely the two features that I like the most for getting the most out of my production for a small home-based business. Then finally, testing that auto pressure feature. So if you do a variety of projects, say like even from screen print transfers to puff HTV to some sublimation blanks, you might see light, medium, and heavy pressure called out on those. For items with medium pressure, the AutoPress worked great every single time. Light pressure, again, AutoPress worked great. With those heavy pressure items, I sort of had a split. Sometimes it would work, and other items it would not work on. So if you plan on going into those heavy pressure items, you might look at that video, see which ones I had success with and which ones I didn't, and make your determination based on those. Now, heavy pressure items, I don't do a ton of those at all in my craft room, so that part really doesn't bother me. But if you plan on getting into heavy pressure things in the future, you might want to consider what the AutoPress can do, and the fact that the auto pressure feature will not let you adjust that pressure and apply the heavy pressure. So one of two things. The first thing is you would have to experiment with the pressure on the AutoPress, maybe change your time, maybe change your temperature, and dial those in. And so you might waste a few blanks in the beginning figuring out what those settings would be on the AutoPress, since you can't apply the heavy pressure. Second thing would be, if bottom line it just will not work without you just pressing super hard on it, the AutoPress might not be able to manufacture those products. So just be aware of that as you're determining whether or not the AutoPress is for you. So how do you determine whether the AutoPress is for you or not? So personally, I would start with, is what you're using working for you? So think about what you're using. Are you using an easy press? Do you have a different brand of heat press? And is that working for you? What are all your personal pros and cons for your current method of heat pressing? Are you aggravated with it? Is the size too small? Do you really hate having to stop and open the press when the process is complete? You're using an easy press and you're tired of holding it down for the full time when you press HTV or sublimation. So what are those factors that are holding you back now? And if you do have a small home-based business, are those factors affecting your bottom line? So are they affecting your ability to produce the amount of product you need to produce for your customer? Are they affecting the time that it takes you to make a product, so kind of the time you get to spend with your family away from your home-based business? So the cons of your current heat press method, how is that affecting your business and your life? And then you can take that list and kind of determine whether the investment of the AutoPress, how much that will help you, and how much benefit it will bring back to your business, as well as maybe your life, time with your family, that type of thing. Time that you're not working on your business, but perhaps making the same amount of money. So who do I think the AutoPress is for? So I do think that the AutoPress, it is a top-of-the-line press. It is a press that I think would be for someone that uses a heat press to manufacture products that they sell. So I do think mainly those are going to be the people that purchase the AutoPress. Now I have heard from some of you, and I do completely agree with you. So you may not realize it, but I do have trouble with my hands at times. And the features of the AutoPress and the easy close features make my life so much easier. So holding an easy press down can be difficult for me at times, and closing a regular heat press can also be difficult, and opening it back up. With the AutoPress, like I said, as little as 2 fingers I can close it. It auto opens. I don't have any of those fatigue issues that I would have with the other methods of pressing. And that's something that's pretty important to me at times, especially when I'm having a bad day. And it might be important to some of my viewers, so I did want to mention that. I do think that's another really good use case, and something that a lot of people would be willing to pay for in order to make their lives a little bit easier and still be creating and crafting with your Cricut machine, even on those days when it's really difficult to use your hands. And then third, it might be for the person that just really likes it and really thinks it's cool and really wants it. And I do think that in that category falls into those people that don't have a lot of space and want a full-size heat press. I do love that you can close it and stand it up. So you can close this and lock it into place. And it does lock closed, which is something a lot of heat presses don't do, which I personally really love. And now I'm gonna flip this up. So it's down now, takes up quite a bit of space on my table, but wait till I flip it up. So here we go. I have it up off the table, and it takes up this little space. So behind a door, in a closet, that type of thing. So I do think there will be a section of people that just really love this heat press, love the look, and want it for their craft room. And then there will be a section of people that need it for the space constraint. So maybe you craft in a small space. Maybe you take over part of the dining room table when you craft, and you need to hide your heat press out of the way because you want to have a dinner party. I think that the AutoPress will be a solution to the problems that those people face as well. So I do think that is another group of people that will really like the AutoPress. Now, do I think the AutoPress is for everyone? I definitely do not. If you only make a couple shirts a month and you love your Easy Press, it doesn't bother you to stand there and press on the Easy Press handle the entire time you're pressing your project, why upgrade? The Easy Press is working for you. There is no reason to upgrade. Same thing if you have a heat press you love and it works for you, an upgrade is not necessary at this time. In the future, you might find yourself in a place where you might want to consider the AutoPress, and that's the time when this video will be for you. Today it might not be, and I do understand that. I understand that the AutoPress is not meant for everyone that watches these videos. However, for those small portion of people that watch my YouTube channel and want the AutoPress and are putting it on their wish list, this video is for you. And hopefully it helps you decide whether or not the AutoPress will work in your life. Now remember, I have tons of videos where I made all those projects. You can check out the results of those projects, failures, things that went wrong, and hopefully that will help you decide if the AutoPress is the right press for you. Now finally, when can you purchase the AutoPress? So the AutoPress officially goes on sale May 15th, 2022. I will leave a link for the AutoPress in the description below. That will take you to the Cricut website. You can head there, check it out on the Cricut website if it's not May 15th yet. If it's after May 15th, 2022, you can head to the description below, click that link, and purchase if you find that after you watch this video, after you looked at everything I've said, if you found that the AutoPress is for you, that's where you can purchase it. If you have any questions about the AutoPress, obviously I've used it a lot. Ask those in the comment section below. If this video helped you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.